We're going to tackle. And as I go back and look at the film, I really just think it's, there's some things that can be corrected, and then some guys got to do it. They're in position to make the play. They got to make the play, and they got to, it's about there's fundamentals that you really have to go through, but then some of it, some are better at it than others. But I mean, you never quit working on those things, and so that's really what it is. It's getting in position, and then being in control, and then being aggressive and going and doing it. So there's a lot of elements that come into tackling, and as well as, again, if you tackle our offense well, you're a good tackling football team, because you're facing some very good athletes in my mind. And so it's we have to, you like to say gang tackle, but it's all about a team tackling concept, that you got to have enough people around that even if a missed tackle, that it's minimized because others are there to compensate.
Coach, can you talk about what it's like for a guy like Craig Rowe, added weight, experience? I mean, how much of a difference does that make for some of these younger guys?
Well, I think it can be very good. And sometimes it can be a detriment. And I don't say that in Craig's place. I've seen times where there's too much emphasis on getting big, and just getting stronger. And that's the beauty of Mike Barwis. I think that he trains athletes, and he trains people to be athletic. And in Craig's case, I see, he's put on 10 pounds, but I also see a fluidity. I talked about him last night. It was on a pass drop. I said, Craig, compare that to a year ago. That's a different looking guy right there. So, I think that it's all about total development, not just bigger. It's a lot of things.
You talk about, in the absence of Troy, how comfortable are you with J.T. Floyd being your number one cornerback? And can you talk about the other cornerback position too?
Well, I think that I said it after spring ball, that J.T. Floyd might have been the guy that I thought made the biggest jump from last season to the end of spring ball in so many ways. So I was comfortable at the end of spring ball with him, and there's nothing been any different. He's just worked really hard. He's been a good leader too. Even before Troy got hurt, JT just has a way about himself that way, that he leads well, and his work habits he's just so much better worker than a year ago at this time, I think. So I'm pleased with him. And about the other side, it's time. We're not ready to rubber stamp something. I think that would be a mistake. I think we want to just keep working and working and working. And the good thing is, it isn't. If there was any positive, is it wasn't in the second game of the season. We have still a whole nother week to keep working with different people and then kind of assess it.
Is there a pretty good chance that we'll see a true freshman start, or at least play for a big role?
I really would not be in position to be speculating any of that kind of stuff right now. I just think it's, there's a number of them that are vying for the job, and that's why we're being very diligent about it. And Gibby is I like the way he's going about it. He's worked all the different guys in there, and that's how it's going to be for a few days.
Would you like to put a stamp on what exactly the alignment is? I mean, when we can say 3-3-5, a coach says, no, it's not like that. It's not a 4-3. I mean,
but
according to...
It is what it was last year, in the sense of Craig Rowe is a hybrid type player. He'll be rushing, he'll be dropping. Jordan Kovacs is the bandit. He was what we called the free safety last year, but he's going to be doing a lot of those same things. Sometimes a little bit of linebackers, sometimes no different than, like I say. And that spur position was the Sam position. Stevie Brown was a hybrid type player. So we were doing a lot of similar things. And quite frankly, if you go back and watch the Eastern Michigan game, you'll see us in a 3-3-5 look. You'll see us in the same thing against, 2 or 3 times last year we did it, and that was from, if you went back to Texas or you went to Syracuse, you'd have seen that same 3-3-5 look then. So it's when I came here, the good thing between Rich and I is that we philosophically we're on the same page about this day and age in defensive football. You got to have multi-dimensional players, and I'm telling you, pro football, there's a lot of similarities in pro ball too. So that's why the 34 concept has come alive again in pro football, I think. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
So would you say then this is something that you and Rich see as schematically something you want to do rather than like a personnel type of thing that you're tailoring this team with? Or is it's a little bit of both?
Well, no, it is a little bit of both. I mean, when I came in here last year, my first question was to Gibby was, is there a safety back there that could be my Sam linebacker? And he said, well, the best guy probably is Stevie Brown. He's 210 pounds, but he also can run and cover and do some things, you know. So that's what we did, you know. And so, you know, we're you know, you still utilize what you have. It still comes down to that, you know. And but you know, and that's where we're still working with younger players as well as some of the older players to see if, you know, how competitive is it. But we want to be athletic. We want to be athletic. That's important now. Because, yeah, and you want to be physical, and there's that side of things too. We know that. But you got to be able to play all over the field.
Rich brought up the 3 fifth-year senior linebackers. You work with the linebackers too. How are Jonas, Obi, and Mark Mundros doing? And are they? He said that they've got to have their best year. Are they in a position to do that?
Yeah, I don't know if they're in position yet, but you know, Jonas got dinged up here for a day or two, but he'll be back tomorrow. And Obi and Mark are battling. You know, they're battling it out in there, and but I know this, that between those three, I really like those guys. I'm serious now. You know, I've seen Jonas. He's blossomed, and that doesn't mean that he didn't flash before. Obviously, he's flashed in the past, but I see a consistency about him. I see he's matured a lot, and in a lot of ways, which is, you know, as a coach, you always love being around that. I see Obi he's really taken on the challenge, and he's just competing his tail off. And I'm telling you, Mark Mundros he's done a good job for us. He really has. He's a good, rugged, tough guy that has absorbed a lot of information, and he's processing it pretty well.